Okay, just like everybody following this whole Shernesto story, these Shernesto Chronicles, as I call them, you probably have heard the latest calls that were dropped by phone calls from prison. She dropped a total of 4 calls today between Dre and Ernesto. And like the previous call, the last call that we got, excuse me, of them talking, Dre has a lot to answer for. The people are pissed at Uncle Dre, or as some call them now, sorry, as some call him now, Mitch Dre. And I look, this I titled this a Dre rant or something like that. That's what I have it up as now. The title may change, so forgive me if it's different. So this is not me trying to take up for Dre or get back on the Team Dre bandwagon because a lot of us were Team Dre, and we were operating off of very little information, and it's also come on, some of it is just a joke. Most of us know, if not all of us know, we don't know these people for real. We just like hearing somebody dig into Nesto, for the one time because Shirley wasn't doing it. Dion wasn't doing it. Sonya definitely wasn't doing it. And Lamont, nobody who he was talking to on these phone calls was giving us that satisfaction we needed at that time. So I thought we'd go back, or I go back and re-listen to Dre basically getting on Nesto about the phone calls being on the internet and how it looks to Shirley and all that other stuff. And I'm listening to it from the perspective of, yeah, Dre's tune definitely changed once he found out the calls were being released. Now, I think he mentions in this call, we'll listen to it, but he mentioned something about, I think one of his calls had got out. So yeah, so Dre is doing a lot of backpedaling and pee popping. He's on this PR campaign. He's straddling the fence right now. He's trying to serve two masters. He evidently cares about what people think about him. And it's real easy to say, oh, he's caring about what we think about him. Well, he does to some degree. I do believe that. But also, he said other people are listening. His sisters and his mama is listening. And if he has a mother like my mother, who, let's just say, I was Dre and my mother was listening to this mess, she would be giving me all kinds of side eye. So he's coming off looking, busterish, as we used to call him. He's a buster. And I've had conversations with other ladies here on the YouTube streets. Shout out to Lady T Bug and her amazing panel. Shan, me and Shan have had, sorry, not me and Shan. Shan has had this talk on that panel, along with Vicky. I said what I said, succeeding. Um, if I'm forgetting anybody, I apologize. Auntie D with the T, all those ladies that I hang out with over there. So check out Lady T Bug's channel when she goes live. It's a good time. It's a good time. Okay, these are the type of conversations that we have. I'm just having it by myself. All right, but that men. This is how men go up for other men. They basically co-sign their bullshit to some degree. And they're not like us women, that would try to hold our sisters in account. And we have gotten in trouble doing this. A lot of us thought that we were saving the day or we just couldn't take it anymore. Hey, look at what happened with Beyonce and Solange. Now I don't know what happened behind the scenes after that, but Solange went up for Bay. She went up for in that elevator. And she was me. Let me tell you, I have two older sisters who both have ex-husbands, and I was feeling some type of way about those ninjas. So I can sympathize with that. But we also know the fallout is if they get back together, then you on the outs. You on the outs a little bit, if not a lot. You know, it looks like it never got to that point with Bay and Solange, but the point is we do that with our friends. If we speak, on a situation like this, it's a we could be, basically, you know, we could be putting that friendship at risk. I remember, my bestie back in the day. This was hilarious. Well, it was funny at the time, and I still think it's funny and cute. Even though her and her husband are no longer together, they did end up getting a divorce. But she was pregnant at the time. I think she was probably about 8 months pregnant. She was late in her pregnancy, and her fiance at the time, they that he was a part of. Him and some friends had a little like entertainment business going where they would throw parties, they would host parties. So they had threw a party, and I went. I went with another friend, and she was at home. And I did see her boyfriend out there. We were really cool. He knew who I was, he knew what was up. And we just had a good time. And me and my other friend, we just had a good time. And I didn't think nothing of it. Well, the next morning she calls me. She was like, "What did he do?" I was like, "What do you mean, what did he do?" And she goes, "I mean, he comes in, waking me up with some flowers, kissing on me, talking about how much he loves me." And I was like, "Oh," I said, "Well, to be honest, nothing. I didn't see anything. I mean, he was hosting, doing his, regular thing with his boys, being social, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. And believe me, that third eye was looking. I mean, I may not have been paying attention to him because that wasn't my job, and she didn't ask me to do that. I was there to have fun, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. But she was so upset. And I know she was a little hormonal, but they also had a little bit of a hiccup early in their relationship. So I understood where she was coming from, but I said no in all honesty. And I wouldn't lie to you if you asked me straight up. If I had seen something, I would let you know. And I would have. That friendship would have been at risk. But luckily, luckily, he didn't put me in that ish. He didn't put me in that position. But I always said, if I got put in that position, would I voluntarily like just go run that tea back to her? It's a slippery slope. But what I did say is that I would make sure that he knew that I knew. So if that night he was out there doing the fool, I would have confronted him and I would have, had words with him like, I see what you're doing, and it's none of my business in the bigger sense of your relationship. I'm not trying to get into that, but how you gonna disrespect my girl to my face and expect me not to look at you some type of way when I'm in her presence? Now, at this point, these ninjas know the girl's got to choose, and I would have never put my friend in that position. All I would say is that I see you. I see you. You ain't got to worry about me saying nothing. Now, if she asked me, that's a different question. Okay. Now, I knew who I was dealing with. We don't always have that space to do that. Not these days anyway. These ninjas out here be doing the most. I mean, just click on any social media post or any news story and they'll take you out. They'll take you out just for threatening to crumble their world. These new schoolers now they ain't playing. So no, I can see why that would be an issue when it comes to Dre, because we're feeling like here you are playing in Shirley's face. But you got to remember, excuse me, you got to remember his loyalty is to Nesto. Even though Nesto's out there doing wrong and being daddy, his first loyalty is to Nesto. So yeah, so like I said, this is like a throwback reaction, mini Dre rant. Dre, this is definitely not your day. And phone calls from prison is on that. You know what? She's cracked the code. I'm of the opinion that Shay and them folks, her husband, I'm gonna call her husband them folks in honor of Nesto. They said to Cobb, they were like, just give us every call that was ever came out for the month of June, and they got time. They got time to go through them. So, like I said, they are the MVP. Yes, phone call from prison. So let's go ahead and get into this call and we'll talk through it. I don't know when this video is going up. I know she said that she has to edit two more videos. They're about 30 minutes long, so they may go up tomorrow. And I know some of our favorite reactors will be on tonight. So I'm going to try to get this video out of the way, get it posted, and you guys drop down in the comments and tell me what you think. Okay.
Harvey Morning Show, where they address the jail calls. In my opinion, Dre takes a very direct approach in this conversation with Ernesto. Take a listen.
What you got
Hello?
going on, boss man? You, you
Hold
driving?
on. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just called to let you know I'm still have my head hold up. I ain't croaked out yet. What's going on? I ain't talked to you in 2 months. What you doing all that for, fam? What you doing all that for?
You know why.
Well, hey, this ain't your first rodeo been with your boy. You know it's always gonna get better later. You know that for a fact. You just gotta figure out which way it's going.
Right.
Yes, sir. That's all. I mean, I spoke to shit in existence. I had a conversation
No.
with my people.
No, you did. You didn't speak it. Did you speak?
Okay. Let me just pause right here. At this point, I think he's referencing the calls that we just heard from phone calls from prison. She put out a total, I believe, 4 calls today. Yeah, there were 2 individual posts, and then there was 2 calls in one video post. But they were back in late June and the first part of July. So that's what he's referring to when he said he hasn't talked to him in a couple of months. Also, I've been following this story from day one since I think Chronicle Speaks kind of dropped the whole arrest, and you know, some vloggers started to whisper about this. Honestly, the first person who really got me interested in this, and this is not me clout chasers, the honest to God truth, you guys, if you're familiar with the name, you know that I am you're following this closely and you're following like Real Talk Bougie or even Grown Women Vibes, you know I am a moderator for Real Talk Bougie, but I've been following her since her early days of Love Lies and Lace Fronts. So that's what kind of bubbled this up for me, brought it to my attention, and I've been hooked ever since. So I say all this to say is that the timeline jumping does get a little bit confusing, especially if you haven't been following it from the beginning. So when people are hearing these earlier calls, um, they're following this call where everybody was Team Dre and everybody had this vision and this opinion of Dre based off of very little information. Now, we did hear an earlier call from him in Nesto, but this one really stuck with us because, again, this was the first time that somebody really went up for Shirley, and said everything that we were thinking. So I just kind of wanted to give that context.
Into existence that they were going to all your calls in jail were going to be on the internet?
No, but I told my wife on the phone, I said, listen, this shit gonna get so fucking nasty. Do you think you ready for that shit? Because I fear something's coming. I don't know which way.
Did you tell her that the conversation that you having with the girl down in Florida, she was going to be able to hear everything you said?
No, I did not.
About her coochie and about her titties and all that?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Okay.
First of all, no, I did not. I didn't know all that was coming. No, I did.
Okay.
I did not hear that. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear that at all.
Okay.
I had it played back, and that was not what said. I didn't hear that.
I've heard the calls, Nesto. You would be able to hear them. You be able to tell them that they got.
Okay, so at this point, when Nesto says, it didn't say that, I didn't hear that, we know at this point that he has been listening to the recordings with the help of Sonya, aka Coach, aka Ponytail. And what we know of her and how she operates, she was only giving him dribs and drabs. She was over there playing the babe in the woods, acting like she wasn't really abreast of all this information, all this tea that was being spilled out here on these internet streets. A whole lie. Real Talk Bougie has receipts showing that she was in her comments back, and I do believe it was back in July. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she's been out here windmilling these streets for Nesto for a while. And what she does, she dragged back half bones, not even the whole bone. She was just dragging back pieces of bones, or the she excuse me, she was dragging back marrowless bones to Nesto for him to chew on. And Dre is trying to tell him, no, Ninja, this is what these calls are saying. And Nesto still's not getting it. Even to this day, I don't think Nesto really understands how much information is being gleaned from these calls, how much information is being siphoned off of these calls. His code speak, he ain't the brightest bulb in the box, but he really thinks that he's got everybody's note. Shirley has him convinced that if he can get her, or these other women have had him convinced, let's just throw the whole circle in, including Dre now at this point. They have basically wrapped this man in a bubble and they allow Nestor. I've said this before. I've said this in uh, a couple of Lady T's panels. They let Nesto live this dream that he was this big baller, shot caller, because as long as he can go and play in somebody else's face and not in theirs, they were okay. And I include Shirley in on this mess. She does not get a pass. She doesn't get a pass at all.
1 through 13. So when you say them motherfuckers are pretty, them motherfuckers are pretty, don't let nothing happen to those right there. They got you. I say, good God Almighty.
I said that. Yeah, I said that. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know you said that.
Yes, I did say that. Yes, because they is pretty. So, what else?
Ain't no what else. I'm your
Nesto
friend to
is
the end, but
ignorant.
I just want you to know the situation that you got yourself into and
Okay.
everything that you've ever. Okay, don't keep saying the damn okay. The situation that you got yourself into, everything is for the world to hear. It's your voice, clean as day, my partner.
Okay.
All that jeffing and capping you goddamn doing, it's out here. Everybody can hear it.
Okay.
Now, okay. And I want you to understand this right here. I'm gonna be your friend to the end till the wheels fall off. It's gonna be hard to defend you. Yeah, I ain't said I done been through this before. I done been through some rough times too. You would never cry. It's gonna be hard to defend you because I'm so tired of the phone call. Your partner sending me links.
So this is what I am saying when he's been held to account by people in his circle. I'm talking about Dre. Nesto has never been held accountable except by the justice system. Let's just be honest. Um, Nobody has really made him feel the error of his ways except the justice system. And I'm not even going to give the ex-wives any credit regarding this because, you know, they let him play too. And again, it sounds like at one point or at some point, him and Martha were cool. And she, again, as long as he's playing in somebody else's face, they don't care. The warnings. I don't know if Shirley. Well, there's a lot of talk about him saying that people were in her ear about him, but I think he was talking more about her inner circle, not the people around him. Like I said, let him go off and be her problem. Initially, they probably thought this was a good thing. He finally is with somebody who's making a little bit of a bag. He don't have to be out here hustling and tussling and doing all that crazy stuff. And they weren't really, excuse me, abreast of how bad Shirley's finances were. So they just thought maybe his sugar mama, his cotton candy, was funding all of his ventures. Legit. The only person who probably knew differently is Dion. Well, let's just put it this way. I call his whole family a den of snakes. All of them, the vast majority of them, including his kids. They know his character. And I know that there were signs that he wasn't moving correctly. And I think Dion knew everything, okay? I think he knew everything. So I'm not going to let him off the hook. But nobody from that side of the bridge was making any inroads and whispering in Shirley's ear, "Stay away from this ninja." But then again, maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they did. Shirley was seemed like she was caught up in the rapture, as Fran said. She really was. I also think that he's arm candy. He cleans up really good. I mean, he has a look for an older gentleman. cleans up real well. Apparently, he has the kind of game they want to hear. And let me just say this. First off, you can just go back and listen to this on phone calls from prison without me breaking in. But there's a reason for that. Number one, I want to make sure Shay gets all her coins. So if you're one of those people who don't like commentary, I'm sorry. I will speak on it. But number two, there's just so many layers to this. There's just so many moving parts to this story. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Okay, at least to me it is. So my theory is, of course, Nesto is a low budget gigolo slash pimp slash hustler. Okay. But whatever he's doing, it works for him. He has a specific target in these women. Now, I don't know much about Martha or the other wives prior to Carol or its other relationships. But from what I can see, him targeting Carol, Ebony, Shirley, what is her name, Monica, and I can't remember the other lady that's involved, the realtor lady. But he's figured out a type of woman he can target. Sonya is not that type of woman, so we all know that. But that's what Nesto is banking on throughout all of these calls. See, he has all these hands he's going to play. And one thing he knows is that give him enough separation, if he can get out of this, if he can weasel out of all of this, I don't think he's going to stay in Atlanta because his name is Mud in Atlanta. But is his name Mud in, let's say, I don't know, Houston, Texas? Or what is another place? Baltimore, Maryland. Now I know for people from these areas, they're probably like, "Oh, he come here with that ish," you know. But my point is, if he can get enough separation from his past, and he can make it up, and he can steer them away from the internet, okay. And especially if he quote beats these charges, which I don't think, but that's what he has in his head. He can go and run game on somebody else. Sonya is just a conduit to the outside. She is his voice and his physical. Um, she is the embodiment of what he needs to have physically done outside of jail. He's just her. I don't care how many love you he says to her and how many compliments he throws at her. Again, he is learning her. And what Nesto does, he studies these behaviors so he can target his next victim. Okay, so he studied women like Shirley for a long time before he got to Shirley. And that's how he got Shirley. Shirley is one of those women. She's a throwback. She believes in sticking her head in the sand. I call her an ostrich. If you want to call her a bird, call her an ostrich. She believes as long as it looks good on the outside and you don't, play dirty in the faces of my circle, you keep all that ish away from me, we good. But now all her dirty laundry is out here for everybody to see, smell, and touch and almost taste. It's a whole different story. Same thing with Dre. Same thing with Dre. Dre's tune definitely turned once he knew these calls were public. Now, he didn't know that phone calls from prison was going to put in that work and dig up all the calls that they could find. He didn't know that he didn't know, well, I guess he did know. I don't know. I think he only wanted to know so much at this point. But I think around this time, he really started getting into the vlogs. I truly believe he's a viber. He's a bro, and he could be bougie gang, gang, gang. Even though he says that what he calls her love lies and lace freights. The point is, his ear is to the floor. He's listening to all of this. He's listening to all of it. And now he knows it got him looking some type of way. Nesto is the poison well. That's what I call him. He's a poison well. Everything he touches goes to ish. And Dre's got that yuck on him. Now, what Dre did in this last call, the last call they released prior to these bunches of calls, this one where he's, telling him that they got the call out there of him and talking about him and him being Team Shirley and that Nesto never loved her anyway. I believe it's in this call, if I'm not mistaken, needing to clean that all up. I don't know who he's trying to please at this point. Maybe it's his lady friend who's, who is also a Viber. Okay. Maybe it's that lady friend that's kind of making him, see things a little differently, in perspective. But also he did say again, his mother and his sister's been listening to this stuff too. I'm not understanding why he feels the need to get on one knee to Nesto. I know he wants to apologize to Shirley. Now, my theory is, and I could be wrong, but it's just my opinion, like everybody else's. Nobody really has the real inside info. Is that Dre just wants to keep the pressure and the heat off of him when it comes to that bond money. Because at this point on this call, I believe the CP charges were dropped, and so it looking more and more like he's going to get bond on the SA charge, and it's time to pony up. And the only person who probably really has access to that kind of money is Miss Shirley. But he done made an enemy out of her. He done made her probably feel some type of way. So now he's trying to play cleanup on aisle six, to get Shirley back in the camp because he knows Nesto is about ready to ask him to get that second mortgage. This whole land thing, I guess it's possible. Anything's possible. But again, my spidey sense is tingling that if there is land, Nestor would have been cashed that in. Though that land would have never been put in trust to those grandkids. He would have leveraged that land. All he talks about is having land to have an art. To he wanted to do a truck stop. He wanted to do all this other stuff. Nesto thinks he's a man about big business. He thinks he is the Black Donald Trump. And so you can't tell me that he wouldn't have been looking for investors to do some land development if that land was any good. It's probably some swamp land. I'm thinking that land may be entrusted to him or it's been deeded to him and his siblings. And old girl Erica, maybe she did some fancy paperwork. But I say all this to say that he's still sitting in jail 2 weeks later, unless there's some paperwork that needs to be done in order to secure that land for a bail bondsman. That's what he's alluding to. But in my opinion, that call back from this February was more about Dre trying to, keep Nesto from asking him to carry that burden. We already know that Sonya asked him for 15 stacks, and when he didn't have it, she did what she did to Dion. She hung up on him. Could you imagine? And in my head, that's probably the way the conversation went. The way she sounded with Dion is probably the way she came off to Dre. But yeah, we've only been 3 minutes into this call. Let me go ahead and start it up again.
He
Okay.
did Shirley. He did Shirley like that. Really great. And what that speak for you by being how let me nip this in the bud. I'm just telling you, it's hard. Not only have Shirley going through some shit, your partner going through some shit too. It's just, I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna get yourself out of this one. I know you always. I've been knowing you a long time, and I've seen you be at the bottom and rise to the top. I've seen you work your way out of stuff and make miracles out of things that didn't look like it was gonna ever come true. But boy, I got to see how you're gonna get up out of this right here and clear your name back up. I really want. I hear you talking about God, believe in God, God this and God that. You say that all the time in on your conversation. But I got to see. I really want to see how you're gonna get yourself out of this
Okay.
Now I didn't hear no nary bit of
one.
God
If
in
you
these
ain't got to
last
have your
four
plan on the phone, cause
conversations. Get
I'm
it,
looking for
Dre.
all conversations to be on here too. Cause they ain't got. I heard my name today for the first time.
Really?
Yes. Here's a phone call with Shirley and Nesto and asking her to Nesto is asking Dre to send him
Okay,
$100 because he needs
so
some
Dre calls
commentary
it a
on his
drop at
book.
this point.
So listen in, guys, for the phone call with Shirley. Nesto tells Shirley to ask Dre for $100 for commentary. So it's coming January 5th, 2023. I say, damn, these folks ain't playing no damn game.
You
Okay.
heard that phone call from prison? Dre, he acted like he
I said,
recognized the game, but apparently he
God
didn't.
damn.
Okay.
So everything that me and you ever talked about, I said, oh, Lord, my name gonna I said they're gonna start. But see, but I ain't worried about me and your phone call because there's nothing but just straight friendship
You
going on
should be,
between us
sir. You should be.
Right.
and us just kicking it. So I'm not worried about that. I don't know if they're gonna air that or play that or not. Because see, oh
Okay.
my God, but you got yourself in something. You got yourself in a situation now, buddy. I'm just saying right now. I don't know what your exit plan is. I can't wait to see.
Well,
The party still gonna be here for you,
but,
and it's hard to defend. It's hard to defend your ass. I still love you, but bro, let me tell you something, nigga. You got yourself in a situation out here, and any female. Okay, okay.
but I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, I'm gonna let you. No,
Yeah,
no,
Dre,
you
all
call me. I'm gonna hear what you
discombobulated.
got to say because, and whoever,
This is so funny to
I don't
me.
know who's pulling these phone calls from Fulton County or Gwinnett County. I didn't even know that shit was legal where they can do that.
It ain't, bro. That's what I'm trying to. Listen,
I don't know how they doing it.
listen, man. I'm telling you right now, none
Oh,
of this
for
shit
you,
is legal.
Freedom of
So that
Information Act.
part right there, hey, whatever is out there, let it keep on rolling. Cause at the
Okay.
at the end of the day, I done seen miracles from people who done went worse than me right now,
Okay.
and still getting down. I heard
Okay.
I heard the phone call that they said on the morning show. I heard that.
Oof. Yeah, I just heard that too.
Yeah, I heard that. I just feel bad for Shirley because I can't call her the wife no more because she's into the world. She getting divorced. So
Correct.
yeah, so
Correct.
I can't. But I did say this here. You need to prepare yourself. I don't know what's coming, but it's gonna be a whole lot of shit, media, all type of shit.
Yeah, it did. I heard you say that. You told her that. You told her that.
I prepared. I don't know what made me tell her that. I could feel some
I
shit,
don't remember that. Maybe
but
that's one of
I
those
just told
calls
her
that we
straight up.
yet to hear. But
You're not ready.
he did
I
kind
think.
of give her an
We
out,
say,
but he
I'm sorry.
wasn't
Go ahead.
warning
Go
her
ahead. Go ahead.
about the media
and I
stuff.
told her that. I
That's
said,
a
look,
liar.
forgive me, whatever. I've already did all that. So
You did. I heard you when you said that.
I
I
said
heard all of that.
I said it multiple times when I first got locked up too.
I heard all of that. But what you
Okay.
didn't tell her was, and I think Shirley was did all she could do as a wife to stand beside you and to stand for you. Hold on, Nesto. Hold on.
Okay.
She did all of that. I heard her. I don't believe this, but they got you charged with. I don't believe this. I don't believe that. They making up stuff. Okay, honey. Okay, baby. Love you. I just want you to just pray. I heard the scripture.
Pause. Okay. So this is another point that I want to bring up. Again, this is not in defense of Dre. Come on, you guys. No, this is not in defense of Dre. That last call back in February kind of got me off the Team Dre train. Okay. But think about it. When he was talking to Nesto back in June, he was being quote unquote a good friend. Okay, their version of, or the male version of friendship. He was co-signing all of, Ernie's BS. But Dre hadn't heard the calls either. We started hearing these calls. Okay. So I don't know at this point. I believe the first call dropped on August 29th. And I don't know how many calls were dropped between this call and September 14th, but they were enough apparently for Dre to get an understanding that Shirley wasn't, this two-faced you know woman who was just only riding for Nesta when things were good. She was really on his team. She was supporting all of his stuff. She was even talking trash about her daughter, her best friends. She was talking about Steve and Marjorie. She was throwing everybody up under the bus in the name of Nesto. So she wasn't just this little fickle woman, frail woman out here. She was on his side. She was believing all of his stuff. So if you think about it, these calls that we just heard, he was just believing Nesto. Everything that Nesto was saying, he had nothing else to go on. Now it's still dirty to me the way they were, talking about Shirley behind her back and him, buying all of this BS. Now I'm not saying that he still, doesn't buy all of this stuff, but I'm just kind of trying to put it in perspective because again, Shirley we're timeline jumping, and it's really hard for us to get out of our emotions and our feelings because Nest don't make us feel a type of way. And then with Sonya out here doing the most, it's really hard to kind of get through all of that. And then you're hearing calls from, February of this year, then you're hearing calls from June of last year, then you're hearing calls from May of last year, you're hearing calls from November of 2023. And it's not, the picture is only clear to those of us who've been following it, or who, if you're up to speed, from day one. It makes sense to me. And then when I step back and listen to like this call, or even kind of put the calls that I just heard in perspective, it's very interesting. Now I do feel some type of way, and I have opinions about the calls as they were being played today, and I hold those to be true, because even though Dre knows more information at the time of this call we're listening to right now, some of the things that he was saying were just downright, look, I'm a single woman. I'm closer to the age of Nesto and Dre, and you still have to deal with this mess. You still have to deal with this kind of ish, in our 40s and 50s. This is what men are still doing. When do they move beyond this? You know, when do they move beyond all of this? When does the tail, the kitty cat, stop being so powerful to them that they will lose everything? And they take it so lightly too. They don't respect it. They don't respect us. They just don't. Some men never grow out of that. Now Dre comes across with this deep voice, and he's cleaned up his life, and he's flying upright, but he has some very archaic views about women and relationships. And this young lady that he's talking to, this friend that's out here, I hope that she's listening, and she's a viber again. And I hope she is, pointing these things out to him if their friendship is that good and he's that open to hearing. Now, I don't need Dre to come on here, at least me personally. I don't need him to come on here and do a mea culpa. He doesn't have to hold a press conference. He doesn't have to interview with anyone. It sounds like he's team patron saint of prisoners, as I call her. He's buddied up with her. Him and Nesto are forming, rather Nesto's forming this alliance. I guess he's got his own little what do you call that, Marvel universe of superheroes that he's going to call up when he gets up out of jail, and they're going to sit around in a circle, I guess, Godfather style, and they're going to take out the big enemy, and he's going to be redeemed, and he's going to have his book become a New York Times bestseller, and his movie nominated for an Oscar, and he's going to go on a tour like he's Nelson Mandela. And Sonya, I guess, I don't know what part she'll play in this. She thinks she's got a starring role, but he's going to actually ride off into the sunset with Shirley. He's going to go knock on her door. Shirley girl, cotton candy. See, I had to do all of this. I had to, keep her on the hook because she was out here doing X, Y, and Z for me. That's not how I really feel about her. That you were the one, and I couldn't have you up all in this mess. You were stressed out, so I wanted to take all the pressure off of you. I knew these calls were being dropped, and this was a part of my master plan. Now, this is all in Nesto's head. And as usual, and as the script, everybody is letting him play out this fantasy. Now, for Saya, she is in the fantasy with him. She has drank the Kool-Aid. She's drinking it by the gallons. Okay. She's drinking it by the gallons. But we haven't heard any recent calls from like Dion or from Lamont. Uh, Definitely not Shirley. But in his head, they're still playing along with him. You know, they still are pumping him up. Okay. And he has an excuse for everything. The reason why they're not calling him is always somebody else's fault. Somebody's in their head. The way he talks trash about his people, his kids, it's just sad to me. Thank God I had the dad that I had. And even though I only had him for 22 years of my life, it was the best ever. And to have somebody like Nesto still hanging around, being poisonous, speaking ill on your name, and that's your parent. That's who added to your DNA. Somebody who is supposed to have, um, unconditional love for you. Hey, look, we if you listen to any of the other phone calls from prison calls, what is the one case I can't think of it where the son off the brother-in-law, his mama was ride or die for him. She's locked up now because she is loyal to the soil. I'm not saying that's right, but she is a loyal parent. Nesto, he only cares about Nesto. This is a true case of narcissism if I've ever seen one.
She gave you the Bible verses. She gave you all of that. That's fine, Ernest. But I'm gonna tell you something, and you know this too. And I believe Shirley could have still been there for you, even the stuff that went on with Steve and Marjorie and all that. But nigga, you on the phone talking to Sonya about her titties and her ass and how she makes you feel and all of that. Nigga, come on, man. Really?
Okay.
I don't know how. You keep saying okay, but as your wife fighting the world for you and being embarrassed,
I understand.
And when you can say you're sorry to your mouth, but how you gonna recover from that?
Okay.
And this woman done got on national syndicated radio. She got all the women feeling sorry for her. Not saying that she's trying to do that. Got all the women feeling sorry for her. She done lost this, she done lost that, she done lost the ring, she done lost the car, she done lost the apartment, she for money, all of this is what it feels awful, and you got niggas dogging your ass.
Okay.
Okay. I'm telling you this straight up. I ain't putting no cut on it. I'm not putting no cut on it. I'm not trying to glorify this, and I think you need to hear this. I don't know who you what it is,
Crack
Lamont,
me up.
all the other folks you've
Again,
been talking to.
Nesto
You
is
need to
not
hear this.
taking this serious at this
You
point.
got hell on your. You gonna have to come. How you gonna? They is trying to destroy you.
Well, she said.
I don't know who. I don't know who you. I don't know who. I don't know. I said it, but I don't know who you don't piss off. I don't know who you don't piss off. I don't heard the phone calls with her daughter while she went down there playing games, and it's apparent to me that you ain't done nothing to her. Not like what they trying to say for us. Hold on, Nesto, I got you for us and all of that. That's apparent. Because I told anybody that's listening, all this shit about the dogs and the animals and kids, in the conversation, you don't never hear him saying nothing about he touched her inappropriate. Shirley ain't even vouch for that either. I just don't know why she did it. I hear about she called when the rent want to be paid. She ain't speaking to Shirley. So anybody with common sense can see that there can't be no ill malice between you and her daughter. The way they trying to put it out to the world that you can't be around her daughter and kids and animals. Hello?
Okay. I'm just.
I do like that, and I do hear you saying, why did she go down there? I could have been a cold motherfucker if I told her to put her out and you.
Okay, at this point, Dre doesn't know what he's talking about. I think we've kind of sussed out, us internet detectives with the reading of the warrants and reading of all the reasons why Nesto is where he's at, and Dre is not privy to this information or not understanding. And I know we get a little bit more detail as these calls come out, but he should be clear at this point. With the CP charges being dropped again, that had nothing to do with Sheridan. This was about him putting Sheridan's name on a lease. Okay. And Sheridan would have been stupid to sit back and not say anything. Why would she put herself in jeopardy for him? And the ninja don't like her. Okay, that was very clear. I mean, he's talking trash about her constantly on these calls, and I'm pretty sure he talked trash about her, but when he was on the outside that she knew about. Okay, and the relationship between Sheridan and Shirley, man, that. I'm hoping they're doing the work right now. Okay, I hope they are, and I hope Shirley sees that this was nothing but triangulation. How he basically pitted her against her daughter. Look, we all have issues with our parents, and the last thing we need is a third party coming in and running their own little agenda behind it. It's hard to get through all of that. There's been a lot of hurt. There's a lot of things that have been said. And I don't know if Sheridan is listening to these calls or not. But this would be hard for me to hear, the way I am being portrayed in in the earlier calls, my mother even co-signing. all of this BS. And another thing that I saw mentioned when I was watching these calls today, somebody dropped down in the chat, was like, Dre is so gun ho about uh, Sheridan being this snake and putting her out, and Nesto speaking ill on her, and giving Shirley an ultimatum to choose between her daughter and Nesto, and he's okay with that. So, Unc or Mitch, are you okay if some woman, let's just say this viber that you vibing with, decides that she don't like your boys or your daughter, and she don't want you to be around them, and you have to choose. You're really gonna just throw your kids away like that? I don't think so. And that's what really pisses me off, is that you over here speaking ill on this child, or this woman's child. Yes, she's an adult, but that's still her child. The mother of her grandkids. And you're just gonna let Nesto just trash her and feel like Shirley should just go along with it? And then you don't have all the facts. So I know you got egg on your face. I know you've been wiping egg off daily. But the cleanup job, that's the call for me. These calls from June, they're entertaining to listen to. I do feel some type of way about them. But for me, it's this last call from February where he's trying to clean up. He's doing the aisle 6 cleanup. That was it for me.
Should have did this, but you never done none of that. You never said nothing about her daughter. You still gave her the utmost respect, even if she thought to you and put the charges on you, because she should have never went down there. Like how she was trying to get Shirley to go down there. Shirley said she wasn't going. I commend her for that. Because you know just as well as I know the games they play when they get you in that damn room against one another, your co-defendant. All they want is a conviction. I don't been down there. When your partner said this, you know you're facing this, you know this. That's the tactic. You said that.
Okay.
Let me be quiet. You go ahead and talk. I've been waiting on it. You go ahead, man. This shit is perfect, man.
This is because I'm getting it raw from you. I don't really talk that much. I get the information. I got all that. And
you done done enough talking. You done done enough talking already.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
So you need to. It's too late now. Them phone conversations that you having with that girl down there in Florida, you need to kind of. I can't even say watch what you say because it's already out there now.
Okay.
She's your missus and your girlfriend. Everybody know that. The whole world know this. I don't know her. I don't know her.
Okay. But go ahead. I'm listening. So wait a minute. First of all,
you never brought her to my attention. I heard about that. I never knew what's in detail because I don't be want to know.
You notice Nesto never corrected him and said, no, that's just a friend. That's just my advocate. She's just, somebody on the outside helping me out. She's coach. He didn't deny. He didn't deny that he was pillow talking and sweet talking. Well, he can't deny because, like Dre said, it is what it is. But at the same time, you got Sonya out here making videos and dropping videos talking about, no, we were just friends. We were just friends. Whatever.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So
I'm Team Shirley.
Okay. I got that. So, is she my girlfriend? And if I said her titty was pretty, this and that, whatever. Well, when they say, so I'm just saying, when they say the last time we was together or whatever, when was that discussed?
Okay, so.
No. See,
I'm not going to play public defender and lawyer with you and technicality and all that because I'm your partner.
This is where Sonya failed him.
You need to be trying to play technicality with that fucking DA.
All the calls are available.
Prosecutors and shit that got your name out there that's trying to destroy you and get out. It don't matter. If it was last year, if it was 20 years ago, they got you on the phone. Love you. Some pretty kitties. I don't know if you paid for them or not. That's what they got you saying. And then women hate your ass.
Okay.
For the way you done her. You keep saying okay. I need you to let this shit register, Nesto. They hate you, boy.
Okay.
They saying they saying, I don't know the other way to put it. They saying, your name is mud right now in the streets.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, that's now.
I know you know this. I
Yeah,
want you to understand what Shirley going through.
I do understand. I understand all of that.
You can't be mad. Don't be trying to. I don't know if you're trying to do it or not. And
I ain't trying to do nothing.
I know that. I know that. But I don't hear the phone. I got that. But this is something else that I noticed too. And this is what you're gonna need that Shirley got.
Okay.
When you heard that letter that she read Monday on the Steve Harvey Morning Show
That
to the
part.
world.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that part.
Okay. So when she got on national, the Steve Harvey, the Shirley Strawberry letter, when she told the world everything that had been going on, she apologized to Steve. She had to admit it, what she was going through, and tears came to this woman's eyes. Damn, that had me crying.
Okay.
And she had to admit to Steve what was going on, how coming to work, and defending your ass, and still trying to stand strong for her husband.
I heard that.
But, okay, after it was all said and done, Steve said, we family.
So either you
We've been
heard it,
together 20,
Nesto, or you
25
didn't
years.
hear it.
We
Make up your
family.
mind.
You're not going to get fired. I forgive you, Shirley. Tommy, we love you. Monica, we love you. The other young Junior, we love you. They got her back. They got her back because you know if she would have been anywhere else, Fox, ABC, CNN, any other place where them white folks in control, her ass would have been gone a long time ago. So they got her support system. So I'm saying to myself, that's what my partner gonna need too. Even though he ain't shit right now.
That's
He
right.
gonna need a support. He gonna need a support system too. Steve is on a better platform than where we are, but you're gonna need that same support system for forgiveness too. And somebody stand by you too, even though you ain't shit right now. When I'm saying you ain't shit, I'm telling you how the world looking at you right now. You ain't shit right now. I don't know no other way to put it, Nesto. You ain't shit right now.
The black.
Now, after this call, you hear Nesto commonly talk to others, Sonya and Dion and Dre, about getting a support system together. And I think this is when he really went in on the kill with Sonya. He decided that he was going to have her be the team manager. And I think this is where Coach, was born, because he thinks that she can organize the players and coach them into the positions that he needs for them to play. He's like the general manager. He sets the agenda and she follows through. But we, as we all have observed, she is a losing coach. She would have been fired. She should have been fired by now. But when you don't have a budget, this is worse than the Bad News Bears. Okay. She's worse than the coach for the Bad News Bears. And actually, Walter Matthau actually was a pretty good coach. He just had a little bit, some anger issues and some issues with, the drink he drank. But you get my point. So he thinks he's putting together, like I said, these a group of superheroes, and now he's got the patron saint of prisoners on his team. He really thinks he's rocking and rolling. Nesto's a fool.
Folks say that. That's what the
What
black.
the black folk and them damn folk that's trying to sink your ass through in that jail cell? That you've been in a year and a half that won't let your ass go, and and they ain't got no indictment on you yet. Them folks too. I don't know if the black folks doing that or not. I'm just blaming it on the black folks.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
You know what? I don't know what to say.
You got your facts together. You got your facts together. Your facts.
Oh my God.
You got your facts together. Look, see, one
I
thing.
said, my God.
Hold on. One thing I know for sure, and for 32 years, my partner 32 years, I'm not gonna bring nothing to you if I ain't got my facts together.
See, this is the manipulation. 32 years, 30 years. They just celebrated their anniversary. Excuse me. He's using that as leverage over Dre's head. And that means something to Dre. He knows that 30 years of friendship means something to Dre. Now, what does it mean to Nesto? Nothing really means anything to Nesto. Everything that he puts in his little pocket is for leverage. So he is leveraging his 30-year friendship with this guy, with Dre. And Dre's falling for it. You know, he's running game on Dre. And us women who've been around for many moons, we know when game is being run. So these men out here like to think that they are this they're so smart, but in reality they're not. Because Dre, if you're listening to this, if by some chance you find my little old channel and you hear this, Nesto has been running game on you for 30 years. He's been leveraging that friendship, your loyalty, your heart, I'm down for you. I'm gonna ride with you till the wheels fall off. He's using that against you. At the end of the day, the only thing you could do for him, Dre, is to put some money on that bond. And if you ever make it clear to him you don't have it, that you can't help him, I'm pretty sure that he'll have his little chihuahua come, you know, chew that 30-year string up off of you. I look, this man has no loyalty to no one, not to his own kids, not to his wife, not to his side piece, and not to you, my partner.
Everything
Okay.
I told you that I've been going through since I've been married, this time right here, you see I was not bullshit. Okay. The only thing motherfucker might talk some shit about me is some titties. Okay. But he did not say
Get some what? Get some what?
it's some titties. Okay. Some titties. Okay. Now, I'm gonna
I
say
think
this right here.
Nesto just wanted to say
I'm
that.
a
He's
man, and
her.
I ain't gonna be the last man out here, and I ain't gonna be the first man. So,
That's correct.
okay, now I'm gonna straighten my business with Shirley when it come down to that. I ain't got. I'm gonna take that to the world with that. I ain't worrying about that part. I'm not worrying about
Okay.
that.
See, I told you,
Okay,
he
I'm gonna
knows
handle
how
my
to
business
play
with that.
Shirley like a fiddle.
That's easy for
That's
me.
what he's
I know how
counting
to.
on, even to
Yeah,
this
like she
day,
said, I
y'all.
said it. I did it. Okay, whatever. I could do the same thing. Okay, but what I'm not gonna do is allow motherfuckers to sit here and take my name and run through the mud. Cause this motherfucker do cheat, skin, whatever, however they do out there in their darkness, it always come to light. So this right here, how it came to the light. I'm not saying I cheated. I ain't say that. I just said she got some crazy kids. That's it.
So what you mean that you ain't gonna allow no? Hold on one second. What
Okay.
you mean you ain't gonna allow these folks to take your name through the mud? What you mean by that?
That means first of all these charges they got on, they all fucking bogus. Okay, and they know it. Okay, all these folks out here making all these accusations, putting shit together, and they have not read not one motherfucking indictment. They have not read one motherfucking warrant. They don't have none of that putting out there. They're putting here
Okay.
There's no
okay,
indictment,
they don't
and
have
Okay.
yes,
the
the
facts
warrants
together.
have been
That's
read,
what I
and
told
Okay.
they've
you 2 months
even been
ago when
read
I
by an
talked to you.
attorney
I said, you
or
want me to
on
send you the motherfucking
evening.
warrant? You said, no, you ain't got to do all that. I believe you. No, because I want you to have your facts together so motherfucker get to talking that shit. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So second of all, let them folks keep talking. Cause guess what? The right shit, they getting 10 cents a click. Anytime somebody click on, they gonna
Again,
make up
listening
shit.
to
So it's
Silly
10
Sonia.
cents a click. Well, to me, that's over 3, 4 million people that watch this shit over 90 days. But let me get my 50 million that y'all motherfucking owe me for putting my name
Okay.
on
You
there.
worried about the
Okay.
wrong thing,
Second of
Ernie.
all,
Hold on a minute.
okay,
Straighten him out,
You can
Dre.
call me back. Now, okay. So let me say this too.
okay,
I hear you, the facts together and all of that. I got you. That's why I like on some of them bloggers when I be listening at them. Some of the women or the men are always say he's allegedly charged with this. He's allegedly guilty for talking to this other woman. He's allegedly for scamming these folks out their money. He's allegedly for being a pimp. Allegedly, remember y'all, they haven't convicted him yet. They're saying allegedly. But deep down in their heart, folks believe you are that man that they got out here in this world. They believe it. They believe that there's some. Oh, hold on one second. But you keep saying till they prove it or whatever. You ain't in there for nothing because if you ain't in there, then you would have been let go or whatnot, whatever. All these folks saying this and all them folks saying that.
stop right there. Let me stop you right there. Cause see, that's what my partner don't know. My partner don't know on the warrants how they stagnated them charges. You understand what I'm saying? They stagnate. That means that they charged me one time, they indicted me so I could never get the fuck out of this bitch where I couldn't get no fucking bond. Then they turn around
There's
six
no
months later and
indictment.
say they put another fucking charge on that they already figured they thought they had. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to explain to you. People talk.
And speaking of indictment now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of my LEO experience, which it's been a while, but I've been, in law enforcement for over 10 years and just recently left it by way of, being a dispatcher. So, but I distinctly remember testifying in front of grand juries. So, number one, he hasn't been indicted yet. And they are saying that they are going to the grand jury in April, which is next month. And yeah. Now, let me tell you, there's an old saying out there that a prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. And if you don't know how grand jury works, again, I'm not a legal eagle. So if anybody out there knows different, please correct me. But only the prosecutor gets to, the DA's office gets to present their side of the facts. Okay. And that's why it's so easy for them to get an indictment. If they feel passionately about indicting someone, they're going to throw everything against the wall. And they have a lot of stuff against Nesto, even with the CP charges being thrown out. And at this point, I think Nesto is also believing that the SA victim is not cooperating, but or is not going to cooperate. But as we heard from the last hearing, they did make a statement, and a couple of other people made statements. So it sounds like even though she may not be in the ATL area anymore, heck, she could be even possibly out of the country. She's willing to come back. She just doesn't want to hang around while all this stuff is going on. So anyway, the prosecutor gets to tell their side of the story only. The defense does not get to go in. Okay, but they do get discovery if an indictment comes back. So it's pretty much a done deal in my opinion. He's going to be indicted. Now, whether he bonds out again, I don't know if that land that he so called has down, I believe in Florida, that swamp land that he has in trust for his grandkids that he's trying to steal back from them. Maybe he will be able to get a bond, but it looks like he's going to be indicted. And if he thinks he can move and shake around Atlanta and intimidate people and have, put in word that is going to knock some big person up off of their square and he's going to get away with that while he's under indictment, he's got another thing coming. And I'm here for it. I think we all are.
Talking, they don't know what the fuck really going on. And
Okay,
I'm telling you what's going on. You know what I'm
listen. You don't have to use profane language and got it. I got it. I just told you. We've been together 25, 30 years. I won't be your partner till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, but I won't.
Regardless of what they're saying. I'm not the DA and I'm not the prosecutor. What I'm telling you is what they're hearing out here with your record from 25 and 30 years ago that they don't went back and got, and they don't pull every goddamn thing up on you they can pull on you niggas since you've been in diapers.
Okay, that's fine.
Ain't nobody got nothing good to say about you. Period. When it comes to business, all they keep talking about is the check is forgery, which we ain't got no indictments on. They ain't said nothing about you cutting hair. They ain't said nothing about you giving back to the
See, this
homeless.
is where
They ain't
everybody
brought
again
none of
with
that
Team
up.
Dre
That you
because he's
taking
letting
clothes to the shelter and
Ernesto
all that stuff that
have
I've
it.
seen you
He's
do.
giving him
We
good
talking about
business.
right now
And
what
you
you
were
done
here
done to
for it.
Shirley and
And you were
Erica,
here
that
for it.
girl that's supposed
So
to be
that's why
staying
you
next day
said
over there in
Uncle Dre.
Alpharetta, and this girl down in Florida. That's the headlines right now, Nesto. I don't even hear nothing. I don't hear nothing about the dogs and the animals no damn more in the picture. That was the subject anymore. Cause ain't no proof came out, or they ain't put nothing on the internet yet, like they got these phone calls. I got that. You got to deal with what's going on now.
I got to deal with it all. I got to deal with it.
Right. So even though you saying that you ain't done that, that they double stacking this and double stacking that and whatnot, whatever, you don't have no bond and they don't want to let you out. That's reality. For what reason, we don't know.
Okay.
Because it sounds simple. I'll say the same thing. If they ain't got no proof, they ain't got no proof that you wrote a bad check. They ain't got no proof that you gonna put this out of these folks' account or you run a credit fraud business. Then let them go. Let lawyer can't get you off of that.
Okay.
Let them go. They ain't got no proof that you touched some kids. Okay. But what I did 25 years ago, what lawyer can't get you no bond for that?
Okay. So let me go back to this. You remember you said that the guy talking about touched millions from him with some broad?
Yep.
Okay, wait. But how are they gonna do that? And Shirley getting on there telling everybody she broke, she ain't got shit, she broke down, we ain't got shit. That I'm asking you $400. Where is all that money went to? I'm just saying how you motherfuckers out here capping and lying and bullshit.
They are.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I don't know if I know you're talking about, I don't know if he was lying. If they making up stuff, it's his publicity. You ain't got no bond or no indictment or whatever bonds they got. They don't want to let you go. They talking about you a flight risk. You've been in Atlanta all your life. You don't have no goddamn house or no damn device. So where you going?
Thank you.
If where you going?
See,
Where you
Nestor
gonna
was
fly
running his
to?
mouth with Coach
With
Dre.
them putting your name and picture all over this.
Listen, Dre, Nestor was in this mess because he runs his mouth too darn much. And he had the sign hen over there clucking about their RV dreams and running scams down in Florida, basically. That's what that all probably came from. And those calls were over in Fulton before he was moved to Cobb. Now, the prosecutor has access to those conversations, but this is because Nesto talks too much and talking to the wrong people. He ain't just talking about, the boobies and all that other stuff. He talking dumb, and he continues to because he doesn't get it. The man, there are some dim spots in his head. He knows what he knows, and he's perfected that. The hustle that he knows it very well because he's had many, many, many decades to perfect it. But the common sense stuff, it ain't clicking to him. And that's why you hear so much passion in Dre's voice because you know that Dre knows his partner. He ain't getting it. He ain't getting it no matter how much Dre tries to tell him. This is bad, man. Nesto ain't getting it. Now, again, I will keep going back to this most current call. The way Nesto talks about Dre to Sonya, and I don't know how Dre is even overlooking that. I know he was in his feelings about, Nesto speaking on his ex-wife to Sonya, but Sonya and Sonya calling him an idiot. But Nesto is lying too. Nesto's lying in your face. He's playing in your face, and it's obvious. Nesto's lying about the conversations that he's had with you, or the way the conversations went, and what he said to you. He's okay. And that follow up call from the whole idiot debacle, he still didn't stand up for you, man. And yet you roll over because you had time to hear that call before you called him in February. Okay. You had time to hear that call where he followed up and then say ish to Sonya that amounted to nothing. So again, I have to think in a big picture. I'm giving Dre a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Again, I'm not Team Dre anymore, so let's be clear. Okay. But it sounds to me like Dre don't want this responsibility. Like Sonya sat there with that one video call when the jig was up with Shirley, when that became clear to Nesto. At least we think the jig is up with Shirley. We really don't know what Shirley's thinking. But Sonya sat back and was like, so it's all on me. It's all on me. Dre don't want all this on him because right now he's the only one that has money. He's the only one in this circle that has money. He knows Sonya ain't got no money. And he also knows that Sonya is pretty much all Nesto has. So yeah, he can go to Nesto or he can say to Nesto, you need to leave that girl alone. But who else is Nesto gonna bug then? Dre? We all know that Nesto's a bugaboo. Dre don't want that. So he's letting this all slide. And again, he knows the calls are being recorded. Not at this, at this point, he knows too. But in February, he knows these calls are being recorded. That's why he put on that performance. And what he really wants to say to Nestor, he can't say because these calls are being got. And because phone calls from prison is doing such a bang up job of getting all the calls, they can't even hide anymore. They can't even risk talking trash under somebody else's pen anymore. They can't text anymore. The video calls are out there. Dre wasn't going to see him anyway. But if Dre thought about going to see him to avoid all of this mess, he can't do that either. So Dre has to be very careful what he says to Nesto. Okay? And by the slightest chance that all this gets dropped, Dre, that 32-year friendship that Dre holds so precious, Dre, I think, is still holding out hope that this is all one big conspiracy. This is all one big misunderstanding. I think a part of him really believes that or is hoping for that, but another part of him doesn't want the baggage of Nesta on his back. Okay, so now he's trying to butter up Shirley. He ain't, telling Nesto, to stop dealing with Sonya because he could still be playing in Shirley's face, knowing about Sonya, but he could be straight up with his partner and say she is not helping. She's making things worse. You really need to reconsider that whole deal, and he's not willing to do that anyway.
Google search, you the hottest, like folks saying, I can't get away from this shit. The more and more I don't want to hear this shit. Every time I pop up, that friend name keep popping up. You the number one search person on Google.
Okay.
And people that don't want to hear it, don't believe it, then it pops up. And you already know in the search engine. Once you look at it one time, it's in your history, it's there. It's gonna keep the Nestos and Strawberry started out. Stay tuned. Nestos go to jail. Nesto said this, him and Sonya this, him and Sonya. All right, goddamn. Nesto Steve, they got Steve name out there too. All right, goddamn.
Yeah.
This shit, nigga, you got more shit going on than Donald Trump, dude. What? Quicker as hell. The shit that he got going
Nesto's
on.
getting off on this. He
Damn.
is.
But like
This
Steve said
he's
though, it's the black media.
behind.
It's the black. It's the black. It's
Understand
the
how
black one that's
serious
keeping up
it
this
is.
stuff. I got
He's
to agree with him
behind
on that.
He's in
I don't know. The white folks might
behind
have put it out.
bars.
I don't know who got
He
some
still
phone
doesn't
calls from
get it.
jail.
Man, you know it's black folk, man. Ain't no white folk working.
Nigga, they got you. They fuck you all the way up with those. Any lawyer listening, any federal agent listening, if they listening, they want to know anything that you've ever said and how you feel about them. All they got to do is listen to them phone calls. They got them. They got them. And it's you. All they goddamn capping you be motherfucking doing.
I mean, what kind of fuck you doing, Flair?
Talking
What
too
you mean?
much. That's what he's saying,
Oh, okay,
Nestor. You
this
know
shit
what
is
he's
not
saying.
funny. I'm just letting you know.
You saying I'm capping. What you saying? I'm trying to figure that part out.
You know, when I first met you, and when I met you, you bring this to my life, and I like the way you move. Let me tell you how I am. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Look at this nigga, man. This nigga.
And let me tell you, but
what I'm gonna need you to do? I want you to do this. We're using that goddamn RV, and you hound that motherfucking RV, and I looked at you. I said, "This nigga, motherfucking partner, man. This nigga,
it was
chill this nigga, man.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, but I tried that. What I'm saying is, I'm not shocked. I've been knowing you since day one. But the whole world hear it, Nestos. The whole world can hear it.
I know, but they invaded my privacy, bro.
I got that. Yeah. So the whole, right, anybody that
So what?
you was half decent,
Telling you,
like still think that you
knows.
half decent,
Shirley knows.
or still
The
think
world
that you
knows.
need forgiveness, or Jasper Williams gonna have to lay hands on your ass right now. Where is he at? The pastor that married your ass. Where is Jasper Williams at right now?
Okay, good.
The bad hat that you was cutting, coming in there, goddamn, giving $100 faces to and stuff. And where he at right now?
Okay. I called him.
I'm asking you a question. Where is he?
I don't know. I ain't never called
So
him.
you were there for him doing when he was going through what he was going through a couple years back. That scandal thing that was going on.
That's true. That's true now. That is true. This is true.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, if I can make it go away for you, I wish I could. I wish I could just make it go away. Get it off the internet. Get you get on back out here so you can go to NASCAR, your dreams, and do what you like to do. Cut hair, and play with your cars. Because that's, oh my God, but oh my God.
Okay.
See, this is what I'm saying about having Nesto or leaving Nesto in his bubble, letting him dream and fantasize and live this life as long it's away from them. Nesto and NASCAR. He come on now. We all have dreams, dreaming big, but how is Nesto going to get to NASCAR? Okay, the closer he's going to get to NASCAR is that his nickname is Nasty Nesto. But Dre is okay with him off and dreaming and pursuing those fantasies. He's okay with that. They're going to co-sign that BS. They're gonna let Nesto, dream about those big things. Again, as long as he's not bothering them.
Hey,
You keep saying okay. I don't think you know how serious this shit is.
listen, and it's very serious. All I'm trying to do is get free, bro. And I can once I get free, defend myself, I'm good. And they can't keep me in forever. I do know that
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
true. I do believe that.
They can't keep me in forever. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't 60 yet. I got a year and a half left. So I think my 60th birthday, everything gonna be wonderful. Life be back on track. Life gonna be good. Whoever be talking shit, they gonna be old and dead. So I keep on moving. No, I'm not.
So you ain't heard nothing from Shirley?
I ain't gonna
Okay,
hear
who's
nothing
gonna be
from her.
old and
I ain't gonna
dead?
hear nothing from her.
Shirley,
She ain't reached
because
out. She done
I
cut me
got
off.
10 years. I'm
I'm doing
like
So let me ask you a
10 years
question.
younger than
But
you,
she told
sir.
you before all this kicked off,
Whatever.
she said,
I
don't.
know what you told me. I told you what she said. I told you.
Yeah. So
The last conversation I had with her, but I don't think she did it out of malice. I think she done it out of all the shit that was coming at her, this publicity and everything that was going on. I do believe she loves you, right?
yeah, I know that for a fact. I know that.
What other choice do she have?
Yeah, I got
You have 1 minute remaining.
And you call me back.
But I am gonna call you back though. Yeah, I am gonna call you back. Call you back about 5 minutes.
Ah,
Now, this is good. So is there anything
I
else?
don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with you, man.
Oh shit, you hell, man. You hell on wheels, man. You hell on wheels.
You sitting on that laughing.
No, cause you gotta make me laugh. Shit, this shit is.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so
Okay, so there you go. There's my re-reaction, my throwback reaction to Dre confronting Nesto about Sonya and him being Team Shirley. That this call pretty much put us in the in the Dre camp, because again, this was the first time somebody held Nesto's feet to the fire. Now he's trying to do damage control again based off of his 30-year friendship. And so the calls that we heard today, the 4 calls that we heard today, this was kind of a snapback to kind of put things in perspective. Now, these are just my opinions. I could be wrong, I could be way off, or you could disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. If you do agree with me, of course, like the video and consider subscribing to my channel. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine too. Okay, if you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and like the video. But if you want to kind of debate, we could do that in the comments. I'm okay with that. Um, I just feel like these calls are coming at us pretty quickly over the last few weeks. Shay is out there doing her darn thing. Her and her husband, they are doing the darn thing, and I'm here for it. But I also realize that it can be very confusing, especially if you are new to all of this. And if you are really interested in all of this, there are plenty of content creators out here that are doing reactions to the calls as they come, like these last 4 calls, the ones that I listen to. That would be, of course, phone calls from prison is where you start. And then you can go listen to Real Talk Bougie and Grown Woman Vibes. If you hit up their channels, they do recaps and they're a lot of fun. We are in the chat, we're mixing it up. I hang out also with Lady T Bug. She talks about some of the Married with Medicine stuff. I believe she talks Real Housewives of Atlanta, but she's also talking this Nesto stuff. And we have a nice little panel that when she goes live, she's gracious enough to let people like me come up on the panel and express our opinions. And it's girl talk, okay? It's girl talk. And there's some differences of opinions, there's some different viewpoints, and we mix it up. It's a lot of fun. But when you start to hear these calls out of order, it gives you the picture kind of gets a little murky. It's like a Picasso almost. And sometimes when you look at a Picasso for the first time, you're confused. You're even like, okay, so why is this even, so great? And then you start zoning in or honing in on different aspects and different uses of colors and angles and shapes. And then it all starts to make sense. So this is like a Picasso painting to me. It's very interesting. Even on the re-listens, I hear something new, or it puts a lot of things in perspective. So she does have a playlist. Rather, Phone Calls from Prison has a playlist up, so you can go and just put them in order by date, so they'll kind of make sense to you. I really enjoyed doing this, so I'm looking forward to doing more throwback reactions in this format. I'm not opposed to going live, but because I really do like mixing it up with other people and talking about this, and especially for those of us who've been around for a while, the re-listens are interesting. And if you're new and you're just trying to get caught up and you're trying to find some perspective, I don't have a big platform. The ladies out there doing the real work. Oh, and let me not forget Pam, the law intellect. She's really good at breaking this stuff down, the legal aspect of it. She was present for the last bond hearing, so make sure you go check her channel out. But this is a way to kind of, for me, is to kind of get my opinion out too, because there's a lot I want to say, and I'm just busy typing away in the chats and trying to get my point across, and hopefully I'm coming across clearly. But after listening to these calls today, and I saw a lot of confusion and even phone calls from prison. Uh, Plays, the original play of these calls. People are confused on the timeline. They're confused on some of the players. People were asking questions like "real dad." I think they were confused. I think they thought that Nesto was talking about his daughter, but he was talking about Sheridan's dad. They had a call, him and Shirley, where Shirley intimated that Sheridan's dad came into town, but Sheridan didn't want to have anything to do with them. He kind of references that again. That Nesto has another son out there that's, he calls him Dion's brother. I think his name is like Keon or something like that. And this particular son is gay, and Nesto has a problem with that. He tries to act like he doesn't have a problem with it, but he does have a problem with it. So he kind of throw out some things. And also these calls, like Dre said, he didn't really know Sonya. He knew of her possibly, but since the calls were coming out at this point, he knew who she was. That's the mistress in Florida. Um, Desto was talking in code about that a little bit. And that, again, the call that came out in June and July, they were prior to the August 29th day when Phone Calls from Prison premiered the first call. So it gets confusing. So, again, if you like this video, I know it's long, but let me tell you something. These calls are deep. These calls run about a half an hour, and they are just littered with Easter eggs and jewels and charms and all the good stuff that people like me who are sipping on this tea appreciates. So I am going to wrap this up, and I hope you stay with me to the end. This is on Airy, otherwise known as B.A.N.K, and thank you for watching. You all have a great day.